Vrabel being an agitator. Do you have a memory or an example of a time where you guys kind of went at it?
There was no restraint of what Mike would say. And he came through one time on a B gap, and I just put my shoulder in his chest as hard as I could. And just, he wasn't going to act like he was hurt, but I knew it hurt him. Romeo Crennel was just crying, laughing. And he said, I've been waiting for 18 years for somebody to do that to him. So
Welcome to Fitz and Wit. I'm Fitz, that's Wit, and this is a Wave Original. Subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Don't forget to give us 5 stars and follow the show on social media at Fitz and Wit. That's Fitz A&D Wit. New episodes every week. Wit, why don't you let them know? Man,
let them know.
I missed that TNF song, man.
That was a good one.
We're going to let them know. Let them know what we're talking about today.
All right, Fitz, our guest today was the 15th overall pick in the 2009 draft out of USC. He was the Defensive Rookie of the Year, Pro Bowler, All-Pro. He played all 9 seasons with the Houston Texans. Give a big Fitz and Wit welcome to the Cush man. Brian Cushing is in the house, baby.
Hey!
Let's go.
Cush,
Appreciate
thanks for
it,
joining
baby.
us, bro.
thank you for having me.
Cush.
Appreciate it big time.
Dude, every team I played on after I played with you, people would ask me, what is Brian Cushing like? And I always went to this photo, and I was like, you guys would be surprised. You remember this one? I know it's blurry in that.
Yeah,
but
man.
I say he's like a little pasty, not as ripped as you think. Got a little bit of chest hair, but I don't know. It was always, to me, like it just wasn't very impressive seeing you with your shirt off in the locker room.
No, and then on the flip side, a lot of people came up to me and had no idea a quarterback could be that jacked. So, it was one of those things that people did not expect from you. Very
Epitome
cool.
of health and fitness.
Do you spray tan? Like, did you spray tan? Do you spray tan or no?
No, I'm not going to lie. There was some times I had spray tanned in my life for certain events and other things like senior year prom and a couple other times. But no, over the years, I think I've just kind of stayed tan. And, in Houston, it's kind of warm all the time. Recently was in Mexico for Thanksgiving, and it's just kind of, it lingers longer, but I'm not complaining about it.
Mexico for Thanksgiving. I love it.
Yeah, it was nice.
Whit, weren't you? Well, Whit just
I was
came
in
back
Mexico
from Cabo
for the weekend. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, we were right in Cabo. It was a good break. Good getaway.
Kush, real quick, how's the body holding up? How many surgeries did you have, and how we feeling today?
I feel great. Really, honestly, for where I probably thought I would be 5-6 years after done playing and kind of, to the extent of the injuries I had, I had 27 surgeries in total. And those are scopes. Scopes included, right? And minor surgeries, but, there was anesthesia and some form of recovery or rehab afterwards. But really just try to stay on top of it. Movement is huge for me. I work out daily, and it's super important. So I think as long as I'm staying on top of it, I'm moving, I'm really cognizant about how I feel or what's bothering me. I'm just trying to stay ahead of that, right? And trying to stay as mobile as possible. I'm active with the kids all the time, and just I feel pretty good. Yeah,
when you think back to those days, Coach, I always say this, like a little bit of like Joe Burrow's gone through a little bit early in his career, right? Like you have these years where some of us have surgeries after a season. That's one thing, like off season, coming back, but in season, getting a season kind of cut short. And it happened multiple times. Just like what a frustrating feeling it is to feel like you want to be out there on the field contributing. Like, how did you deal with those kind of years, and really just when you have to deal with that where you can't be out there and that's all you want to be doing?
Yeah, but I think the hardest part, really, obviously physically, it's very demanding, but it's the mental part of it, and then having to rehab in the facility and watching your teammates walk by you going out to the practice field and seeing them go out there. That was always the hardest part for me, and I know a lot of the guys feel the same way with that kind of internal struggle. I got to a point where it's just I think I had really 3 kind of serious season-ending injuries, and they were 2 years back to back, and then another one later in my career. But just kind of reminding myself, look, if I want to keep doing this, every day I show up is one more day closer to being healthy again. And just kind of reminding myself, with the monotony and how boring rehab can be, just knowing like, this will pass. This will pass.
Yep.
You'll be back out there, and you're putting the work into to be able to walk those guys out to the practice field again, and know that you're off the table and being able to help and contribute with the team.
Yeah, I think some of those days you say that, it made me think of like the relationships you form in the training room, because you better have some good dudes in there, some good people that work in there, because you guys got to get along and you got to learn to laugh a little bit. It makes me. I know Reggie Scott with the Rams calls it the barbershop, but there's some good moments in the training room that happen that kind of lift your spirits time to time, and it's much needed. That's for sure.
I'm curious for you. I don't know if I ever really got to talk to you about this. After you got done playing, you decided you were an assistant strength coach. Was it for a year or 2 seasons with the Texans? 2 seasons. Did you enjoy that? And is that something you see yourself doing at some point in the future once the kids are grown?
I did. The weight room was kind of my in back into the organization, and then kind of gravitated more towards the field and really helping, linebacker individual. I was doing a lot of the stuff with them, and it was an interesting dynamic because there's a lot of guys I played with too, right? There was a lot of guys that were my teammates. So there was an interesting kind of integration period of coach, so I had a lot of conversations with guys and, wanted to kind of, vent and throw some stuff off to me. And I'm like, look, man, I'll listen, but I can't really help you here. Right. Because, I'm kind of a coach now. And I know you want me to bring this to coach and tell him that. So it was an interesting dynamic, but I really, truly enjoyed going back and had so much more of an appreciation for our actual coaches once I was helping and one of them, right. The hours they put in and could understand the frustrations and could understand the times, a coach snaps about a wrong route, right? And you realize, well, he was drawing that route up till midnight last night, slept on the couch, and woke up at 4:00 this morning, told you 5 times, and on the 6th time, you still didn't get it. So it gave me a much better picture of just all that's encapsulated into game preparation and what really goes in behind the scenes. I definitely think I would do it again, but back to youth sports, I just remember it was kind of the moment for me was, it was 2020, the COVID year, and we were up in Pittsburgh, and we're all wearing masks. There's no fans in the stands. The stadium's dead quiet, and I think I was probably on Game Changer on my phone watching my son's game more than actually paying attention to the football game. And again, the environment was very different. That was a weird year, right? It was just not as exciting.
Right.
It was just very odd, but that was kind of my moment where I was like, you know what, maybe I should take the time while they are growing, developing, and only have that chance once to really be there in person to kind of, capitalize on that moment. And I just felt like I would have regretted not spending as much time as I have recently. And then again, we were 0-4. It was the year OB got fired, and just a disaster of a year with COVID on top of it. So that was kind of my out. But, as far as going back eventually, I wouldn't rule it out. Maybe when the kid's a little bit older. I really loved the NFL locker room. I loved good coaching staffs that had really cool relationships with the locker room. And that was something you see it in New England right now, and how well they're doing, right? It's kind of one of those things that you really want to be a part of.
Yeah, you mentioned that, talking about Coach Vrabel, who obviously you were with. When you see people come out and talk about the leader and just, how easy he is to follow, does that surprise you at all from your time with him?
No, not at all. Vrabes and I had a very interesting relationship, and I think we're just very similar people that kind of wanted the same thing, but spoke a different language at times.
Yeah.
And I think Vrabes, even when he'll admit it, when he started coaching, he struggled not being a player anymore, but still kind of acting like one at times. So, I think he's really found himself, and obviously he's back in New England. I think Mike also knows he could have been a head coach probably a lot longer ago than he actually ever was. So I think there was some frustration involved with that as well. But I think what we're kind of seeing more in NFL and especially college is not so much the extraordinary game planners, but more the leader of men.
Yep.
And that's the most important thing for head coaching. And head coaches that trust their assistants, let them coach, let them call their game plans, and they oversee the big picture. And I think Vrabes is probably doing a really good job of that. Watching college, I think Marcus Freeman does an excellent job of that. Like, do you have a coach that these players love playing for every single day? right? Because it's so monotonous. It's so redundant. The days aren't always great. But at the end of the day, if you have a team that's fired up to play for their head coach, that's a dangerous team, 7 days a week.
I remember back to 2014, Vrabes had his two boys out at training camp, Tyler and Carter, knuckleheads, and he's teaching Tyler how to play cover two safety, and then he's bringing him down and playing the cloud corner. And, Tyler ended up being a offensive tackle at BC. So it was like, why he was teaching them those things, who knows, because that wasn't what he was destined to be. But it was cool to see him always involved with his kids, such a great players coach. What about DeMeco Ryans? What's your relationship with him?
Man, DeMeco's awesome. I was so excited when he got the coaching job, right? And it was an interesting kind of transition because the Texans were trying to get in contact with him when he was still defensive coordinator of the 49ers. So I was kind of trying to work a little bit of a bridge between speaking with him and then speaking with the Texans and kind of working that deal out, knowing that like this would be the guy, if anyone's going to right this ship and turn it around, it's going to be him. I remember coming in rookie year, first round pick, middle linebacker, just kind of honestly scared to talk to DeMeco. Just thinking he probably would hate me, first round pick, playing middle linebacker right next to him. And we had the same agent at the time and kept telling me, like, go up and introduce yourself, go up, talk to him, get it out of the way. He's a great guy. And DeMeco ended up coming up and talking to me first and, just introducing himself and helping me more, than probably any coach I had during the 9 years. Just you could tell he just loved teaching. He loved sharing experience. And he was really real about, who he was and what he could do and what he couldn't. Very transparent in the meeting room all the time. Spearheaded all the defensive dinners, was huge with, community and bond and relationships. And, I think we see exactly how that's working out for the team right now. Again, you could tell it's a locker room that's fired up to play for a coach. And that's really a truly special thing.
Yeah, when you watch football now, I mean, especially this Texans group, I mean, how much fun is it to watch this defense? I was telling Fitz last week, like one of the things that always tells me how great a defense is like even in these games when you see a team find a good play or find a good moment or like, oh man, they're about to get going, they made this play. It just seems like the next snap is a tackle for loss. It's blown up in the backfield. It's something where you're like, man, their ability to answer, even not just dominate, but answer anytime you feel like you're going to get momentum is really special.
Yeah. I think they're a defensive unit that feels like they have control of the game at all times and they play with all confidence, right? I don't think they're reacting. They're more offensive than most defenses, right? And they're attacking. And the wildest part to me is they hardly blitz. Right? They just have a 4-man front and they're coming after you and they know their guys are eventually going to win. Their cover guys cover. And, I think what separates that defense is how well the secondary tackles as well. Right. Yeah. I think all 11 guys aren't scared to put their nose in there. And it comes from the head coach. It comes from the GM drafting a certain type of guy. Right. I heard Casario talking the other day, like we immediately cross guys off the board that show any sign of laziness or, any discomfort towards tackling or any, just not excitement for football. So, I think they know exactly what they're trying to draft and the guys that go after and, the whole mentality swarm. And it seems like whatever 11 guys they put out there on defense, there's no drop off if a sub comes in or a guy's hurt. Like they play to a certain standard and it's really fun to watch. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was fun to watch all year. And it just seems like it's a culture, so it's sustainable, right? Even some players are going to come and go and they'll lose some guys, but it's even what Vrabes is doing in New England right now. It's amazing to see the turnaround. Just sitting there looking at New England and kind of what they did this offseason. They obviously had a bad year last year. Vrabes comes in. They all sorts of money in free agency, but I think to your point, like they targeted guys that love playing football. They love tackling. They love hitting. They love the physicality of it. They insulated Drake Maye to get great people around him, and it's turned around a team in 1 year. What do you think their chances are coming up here against Denver? Have you watched much New England this year?
Yeah, a good amount. For the longest time, I think the biggest, criticism was the strength of schedule, right? But it's it's not their choice, right? They're
Yeah.
playing
Yeah.
who's ever next on the schedule, and they've done obviously an excellent job all year. They travel well, they play well, they're able to run the ball, right? I think the run sets up the pass really well. They play really sound defense. Special teams are excellent. You got all three phases clicking, so you can take that on the road and go win a huge game. And obviously, Denver's chances drop significantly when you're starting quarterbacks out for the game.
Yeah.
But I I think what's the most important is the message that Vrabel is telling that locker room all week, and especially right before kickoff. And they play with a chip on their shoulder because they've heard it as well, right? They've heard that they haven't played anybody. They heard how good Houston's defense was, and he's constantly reminding them he's a great motivator. He says the right things at the right time to get those guys flying around, and expect nothing different this weekend.
Yeah, sometimes he's a great agitator. Motivator, agitator, whatever you want to say. Braves will say whatever he wants to piss you off. That's for
Whatever.
sure. We all know that know him well.
Yes.
But also I think you look at it like Fitz and I told us last week with Josh as the OC, talking about a guy who's been there, done that from the standpoint of these playoff runs, what it takes to win these kind of games. You look at New England, really like how they face these two of the best defenses in the league back to back. And, outside of probably Drake Maye and some of these fumbles in the pocket and getting the ball out a little sooner, I think really outside of that, you can see that they're kind of in control and they know when they take their chances and when not to. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. It'll be interesting to see what the plan is this week with Denver, with Bo Nix being out, and kind of how Josh and them attack Denver's defense, because this is another third defense in a row, one of the best in the league this year, and another group with great edge rushers. So Drake Maye got a little lucky last week, 4 different fumbles, be able to get on 2 of them, but that'll be another big challenge to this game.
Absolutely. No, it'll be a great game. It'll be a great game. Like you said, it'll be interesting what Peyton kind of draws up and how they're going to attack them, right? That's obviously a huge loss.
I think it's interesting because obviously Bo Nix is a huge loss, but Stidham has been around, right? He's been in that system for quite a while. He hasn't played a ton, but they've got a great offensive line. Sean Payton, I think, with Josh McDaniels, those are the 2 best screen callers in the NFL. And so he's going to be able to dial some stuff up where Stidham's going to get going early. I don't know that it's as huge of a loss as people are saying, and I could be crazy, for saying that. But I think Stidham is going to be fine. I think that Sean Payton's going to be able to insulate him with some of the play calling. And then, Kush, what about like this resurgence of defenses? Houston we talked about, but Seattle and Denver both, like it just seems like the NFL's cyclical, and we were talking about offenses for a long time. But like if you watch this Seattle defense play, they are unbelievable. You mentioned flying to the ball. Like they're dangerous, man. They're hitting people. They're scary to go against.
Yeah, they are. I think they did a great job in free agency in the draft. Obviously, coach comes in from Baltimore, implements his kind of system right away. When I saw Pete leave, I suspected kind of a 5-year rebuild. When Pete left Seattle, I just thought it was going to be a real slow process. It was going to be hard to kind of build back the culture that he had instilled. But clearly that they picked up right away. And look, playing really sound defense, being able to run the ball and not turning the ball over, that's a recipe for success no matter where you play.
Yeah.
And,
I don't care what year it is either.
Yeah,
it can be any time. Who cares about the cycle?
Exactly.
If you can do those 3 things, you're going to win a lot of football games.
Yep. And you look at Seattle, you look at Denver, Houston, New England, like they can all rush your passion. And they can stop the run, and they cover really well, and they're aggressive going after the ball. I think the turnover ratio is huge for those teams, and seeing defense that kind of reemergence of defense. I think it's just the emphasis on one good game planning, obviously, and I think the guys are really locked in and do a good job of getting guys to do exactly what they need to do, really disciplined. But I think just the amount of good tackling that you've seen this year, and even at the college level last night. Like I watched Indiana all year, and it's the best tackling team I thought I saw in college football all year, and it makes such a huge difference when you limit the missed tackles and the first guy's bringing them down instead of, it's not 3rd and 1, it's 2nd and 7. Right? It's a huge deal, and it changes the complete offensive game plan and play calling as well.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, you mentioned in Seattle too, just with really that turnaround being so quick. It made me immediately think about when you said you look around the league, leader of men. Obviously, there's schematics to all of this, but leader of men type situation. You look at Seattle last year. Defensively, they definitely had an uptick and were playing better, but offensively, it really wasn't a style that Mike Macdonald liked. You could tell he kind of wasn't comfortable. He makes an immediate change, which you don't see a lot after his coach's very first year,
Right.
and brings in a style of what does he go get? Clint Kubiak. Let's run the football. Let's play action. You know what? Let's methodically have these drives where we're able to do those things. We've seen those offenses be successful in that Shanahan McVay type scheme, and let's play great defense.
Yeah.
And you see how fast they turn it around. Those kind of decisions I think are tough as head coaches in the league. And it's like we see now, like creating real identities that guys buy into and a belief of who their leader is, the messaging of what we're going to do and what we're going to be about. I think the inconsistency sometimes is where players get lost. Like, hey man, you're telling me we're going to be this, and then everything we're doing is not matching what you're telling me our identity is. But when you see direct leaders who are like, hey, no, here's our identity, and I will make decisions that we will always be fighting to get closer and closer to the identity of who we say we are as a football team. I think you see that is the trend of who is successful right now in the league.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and the players pick up on it right away. Like you said,
yep.
It's one of those
you can't lie in front of that room.
No. And if you're truthful and even if you're wrong, but you're sticking to what you said, they respect that. Right. And they'll honor that and they'll play for you. And, that was one of the things, especially like playing for Kubiak. And I know his sons are probably the same exact way. Like they believe in something, and that's not gonna falter. They're sticking with it. And, players appreciate that consistency.
When Whit mentioned earlier, and I was laughing too, Vrabel being an agitator, you kind of smiled, but you two are obviously both alphas, the alphas of the alphas. Do you have a memory or an example of a time where you guys kind of went at it?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Mike is, I played for Ken Norton Jr. in college too. Right. And he was the king agitator. He would make you hate someone so much you never met in your life before, but by Saturday you were ready to, take his head off. Yeah. And that was his job. And he knew what to say and when to say it. Like he was really good at it. And he would reel it back in at times too. And he would also have a ton of positive reinforcement, right? So there was the counterbalance of the two. What I appreciated about Mike was like, obviously Mike played and Mike was awesome. And, but there was no restraint of what Mike would say. And, there were times it would piss you off, it would make you better, or it would piss you off, frustrate you. And you'd kind of be out of it for a series because you're trying to, knock somebody out while all you're doing is thinking about Mike and he's not even playing the game. But, at the same time, he was able to have that conversation when you come off the field. Like, look, man, I know what you're feeling. I know I pissed you off, but like, let's turn this into a good thing. But, as far as, us going at it, I just remember, and I think Fitz, he probably did it when you were there too. Mike would run down a kickoffs. Mike would, play middle linebacker scout team. He would rush the passer and he would put the red helmet cap on, right, for the scout team look. And pre-practice, we'd have our walkthrough and he'd be the, scout team running back, and he would be running full speed, like lowering his shoulder, just trying to run people over with no pads. And it was just one of those days we were in the bubble, and it was like week 4 or 5, and, he's talking shit. He's, acting like he's scoring, doing high knees, spiking the ball, and we're just tagging off on him. And he came through one time on a B gap, and I just put my shoulder in his chest as hard as I could. And he hit the ground, the beanie flew off, and, he was just he didn't act like he wasn't going to act like he was hurt, but I knew it hurt him. Went back to the huddle, and Romeo Crennel was just crying, laughing. And he said, I've been waiting for 18 years for somebody to do that to him. So I really appreciate that. And that was awesome. And, but it was
that's
like
great.
Happened. 2 plays later, Mike and I are talking about, 3-4 defense. And
right.
It was a good moment for both of us to kind of clear the air a little bit and get back to business.
Yeah, he doesn't play any games. I can remember about 4 years ago at American Century, my son was probably, he had to be 9 or 10. Michael Fitz, who loves to like tussle a little bit. He like, they love Coach Braves and they get to see him all the time out there. And so he's like, hey, I'm going to go up to Coach Braves' table and like, I'm going to shove him a little bit, Dad. I'm like, oh, that's cool, buddy. The next thing I know, I look over there and Braves has got him like face down in the concrete, like holding him down. I'm like, he didn't let him even like try to compete with him a little bit. He's like, Dad, you kind of like let me win at first. Like Coach Braves just like, he just pinned me in the concrete. I couldn't move, Dad.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's
Coach Vrabel.
He can't help himself.
You just got to know it, Mike. You just got to know you got to, hey, don't be ginger. Next time, just go straight in. Just throw a shot, get it started.
It might have been at that same golf tournament that he taught my son a very valuable lesson. So Brady Cush, who was 7 when we played together, he was the one that did the math problem in the post game. He is now almost 6'6", 265. He's a big kid.
Should be a left tackle.
He's a freshman in college.
He was the one at the Harvard game you sent me the picture of that time, right? When you guys were in the bleachers?
On the laptop. Yes,
exactly.
But he was my caddy at American Century, and I think at the time he was 14, so probably 4 years ago, and he is chafing like crazy.
Right.
And I'm playing with Braves, and Braves is watching him day 2 and day 3 carrying this bag, just struggling with the chafage. And so he taught him a very valuable lesson that day about big men and chafing and the proper undergarments that you have to wear, and Brady will take that with him for the rest of his life. So Vrabel knows a little bit about everything.
He does.
He's a worldly man.
That's a great description of him, and he's not afraid to tell you that either.
Nope.
Or give you the life lessons. He's learned and passed it on. And again, I mean that's true life experience. And I know we're laughing and joking about it, but these are the kind of stories he tells to the team as well, right? And I think they appreciate the human nature and relation that you can have with a head coach.
We're gearing up for the AFC and NFC Championship games, and you know what that means. You need championship level snacks, and no game day is complete unless there's a big bowl of queso dip. Nothing brings my entire family together like good football and great snacks. All you need are 2 ingredients to make a best-in-class, warm, creamy, delicious queso. Velveeta brings the creamy cheesiness, and Rotel is a blend of diced tomato and green chili that will bring the bold to your food. It's a crowd-pleasing recipe that everyone craves. To find your easy, delicious queso recipe, visit rotel.com. That's RO-TEL.com.
You had mentioned just leader of men, and we talked about DeMeco Ryans. We talked about Vrabes as being 2 guys. Is there anybody else that you've been around, whether coach or player, that you just have them pinned as, man, I would love to see this guy get an opportunity at some point?
Yeah. There's a ton of assistants and guys or people you wonder, like, when they finally do get a chance, like what took so long, right? Like I just look at Signetti and 64 years old, and the route he had to take to be, a big time Division I college football head coach. Right. So, I mean, I don't know.
What about like Anthony Weaver?
Absolutely. Yeah. I
He
think
fits
that's a great example. I think Weave obviously is a defensive guy, but I think he can talk to anyone in the locker room. I think he can get up in front of the podium in front of, the media and address about the team and exactly what's going on in a really positive way. I think Weave would be great. I think you and I talked a little bit about this, and you always see the guys that were position guys, and every single player loved, being coached by him. It's really a good track record of guys that are going to be good head coaches, right? Is that relationship they have with them. I remember right before, I went to SC, that was Ogeron. That was Ed Ogeron, right? And it took him a couple stints to kind of understand the head coaching role. But is he a defensive guru? No, right? Not at all.
Recruit the 5 stars, baby.
He knows how to recruit, but he knows how to motivate a team, right?
Yep.
And he knows how to hire good coaches and let them do their job, right? I think that's where you see a lot of these guys get into trouble is, right? They hire these guys, but it's got to be their way. Right. And if it isn't, they're taking the headphones and they're calling it anyway. And then you just have your OC or DC sitting around kind of coaching the position then. So there's a bunch of guys out there. And again, it's tough with the hiring cycle. I think people are so obsessed with also hiring younger guys, right? Because everyone's looking for that that decade-long coach that they know surefire, right? And obviously, I think, Sean out in LA was the standard for that, hiring a guy 33 years old, and it worked out so well for them. But he's who he is because of who he is, right?
Yeah.
That's a very unique individual.
That's what I always say, Cush. Like people try to say that motto is like, forget football. Like, yes, Sean's a smart dude. All this, like, he's a leader of men. Like when you sit in front of a room with this guy for 4 seconds, you're going to be like, holy shit, I want to play with this dude. Like, he's an ultimate, like we're talking about Braves, but like that's how Sean is. He competes at something. Like, he wants to beat your ass at it. He doesn't care what it is. We could be, playing any game you want. He's going to want to beat your ass. Like, he wants to compete. He's about finding ways to be better in every single thing he does in life, like whatever it is. Like, he's a true guy that guys walk into a locker room or in a team meeting and they go, man, I want to be like this dude. I don't just want to play for him. I want to be like him. And like, when we talk about that, I hate it when everybody always call him like this young boy wonder. Yeah, he created a cool offense but why did he do that? Because he was curious. He was humble. And he's like, I want to be the smartest, hardest working dude ever. And I want to be the best version of myself at all times. And that's how it came about. Not because he's just like smarter than everyone, right? Because he's willing to work his ass off of it. I always used to tell people this, like, I would get to travel a lot. We became best friends, a lot of vacations together. And I always thought it was the coolest thing that, like, here he is, this dude is an ultimate communicator. Like, he's like a guy's guy. And then at the same time, like, all he's doing all vacation long is reading books about like how he can better be a better leader, how he can communicate better. Like, why, it's so important to have systems that, you back up everything you do and the why for how you do it. And like, what are the best ways to challenge? What are the best way to handle conflict? Like, he's just constantly, it's not just football X's and O's. It's like life stuff. Like, how do I handle all of that better and better, challenging himself? It's like, man, I can tell you literally have a 5-minute conversation with this dude. You'd be like, oh, I get why this guy's really good. Because he could be a CEO of anything. Forget just football, right?
Yeah.
And he'd be successful.
Yeah. No, that's huge.
And to your point, like, I think one of the other key things, like, that I've always been impressed with, and I know a lot of guys that leave him do it. I saw Nick Saban kind of touch on this when he was talking about the national championship game and these two head coaches, is the ability to teach his coaches. Like, I think it's really cool. Like, when you're part of the Los Angeles Rams, one of the things you're going to have every single meeting, you're not going to hear from Sean. You're going to hear from Sean in one meeting for just a few minutes where he's going to give kind of a mantra, but then the rest of the meetings, he's going to make his assistants conduct the meetings, run the terminology, do everything, because he wants to challenge them. Like, I'm going to coach them in our time together, and then they're going to coach you guys. And like, I'm going to help grow their ability to lead and communicate and do all those things. And that's why when people hire them, or people are like, man, why do so many guys come from this tree? It's because, dude, he's constantly training them. Like, he wants them to go get those opportunities. He's not trying to hold them in that building. He wants them to grow and be the best version of themselves, and that means they're probably going to get jobs and go elsewhere.
Yeah, no, that's really important.
Cush, thank God. I almost text you. Your brother-in-law needed to cut his hair because it was getting out of control. Like, I don't know what he was doing. Like, he was all about it. He was feeling like running his hair through. How do you think he did year one in the big chair in the booth with Iron Eagle?
I thought he did great. I thought he did really well. I know it's not easy. I mean, I can only imagine, right? And I think certain D-line is a whole different position than football altogether, right? I think they're kind of, it's not as in depth, right? You talk about Vrabel teaching his offensive tackle son, to cover two as a safety and all that, right? Like, most D linemen I played with, right? They didn't. The only time you talk to them is when you try to move them, over a gap, and right, they know one thing, and it's violence and gap control and rushing the passer, right? So I think JJ kind of these last 2-3 years has really expanded his football knowledge. He's really diligent with it. He's watching a ton of football. He does a great job with rosters and being able to name guys, and obviously, is really dove into being a student of the game, which is, what's going to separate you as an announcer on TV is understanding, what an offense is doing, why they're trying to do it, what the defense is lined up, and the special teams as well. So, I think he's showed his personality, done a great job. Obviously, cut his hair, cleaned his act up a little bit, and
thank God.
Looks the part now.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness he cleaned it up.
And when he played, he never grew his hair out. So it was, and I know Kalia for the longest time was like, why don't you grow your hair out? Brian's always doing new stuff with his hair. And he was like, no, and gets on TV, puts a suit on, and everything changes.
He was starting to change on us a little bit, but now he's back. He's back now.
You guys reeled it back in. Peer pressure is It's a hell of a thing, man. You know,
It's
just
Your hair has always been on point. Now I'm curious. You know, I understand like being in New Jersey and being able to get a haircut there. You go out to LA, okay. In Houston, what do you look for when you're looking for a barber shop? Because I've got my set of standards that I'm looking for.
Well, you know, I was very fortunate when I got here. I was a little lost at first. You know, just navigating throughout the city, trying to find something that fit my personality or what I was looking for. And rest in peace, Jacoby Jones took me over to the Sharpstown Mall my rookie year.
Sharpstown, baby.
Got probably one of my worst haircuts of my life, and ended up shaving my head due to it. And then Sean Cody kind of, reached out and, fellow Trojan was like, "Hey man, I got a guy. I see you're struggling over there," and was just
Sean's always
teammate.
clean.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, love his, great hair, hoop earring. Like he cares.
Oh,
He
yeah.
clearly cares about how he looks, and took me over to the Galleria Mall, and we went to Visible Changes, and I found my guy there, Mr. Gabriel Perez, and I've been with him 16 years since, man. Cuts the boys' hair. Just, finding the right guy is super important.
How often you going in to get your hair cut?
Usually every week. Every week or two. I got a little bit of a debacle and situation coming up. I'm going hunting Thursday. I usually get my hair cut Friday, so I'll just I'll skip a week. And everything will be okay. It'll be.
What are
all
you
right.
hunting?
Such a routine. I love it.
Yeah, we're hunting sandhill crane, and some
I don't
goose.
even know if I know what that is.
It's they call it the
like birds.
they call it the ribeye of the sky. It's like a huge bird. It almost looks like a pterodactyl.
Where?
We're going out to Lubbock, so we'll be all the way out in West Texas. Hopefully getting some sandhill crane, some goose, and then at night it's whatever's roaming around the property.
Whit, it's a new year, and I'm going for a whole new me.
But what do you mean?
Well, there's no right time for better health. There's just now. And AG1 is the easiest and most impactful habit you can implement this year.
Well, see, now I have to know more.
Okay, so AG1 is the opposite of complexity. 20 seconds, 1 scoop, 8 ounces of water, done. Drink it first thing, and I mean first thing.
Before coffee? Before checking my phone? Before brushing my teeth?
I'm okay if you brush your teeth first.
Okay.
But sustainable health is about consistency, not perfection. Simplify your nutrition with AG1. Multivitamin, pre and probiotics, superfoods, and antioxidants in 1 scoop.
That sounds like one of the easiest things you can do to support your body in every day.
I use this every single day, and you should too. By the way, AG1 now comes in original, citrus, berry, and tropical. My favorite is berry, but experiment with the flavors. They're all very delicious.
I have to get my hands on some AG1 apparently. You know how I love anything tropical flavored.
AG1 has over 50,000 verified 5-star reviews and comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Go to drinkag1.com/FW to get their best offer. Get 3 free AG1 travel packs and get 3 free AGZ travel packs, plus free vitamin D3 plus K2 and the AG1 welcome kit with your first AG1 subscription order. That's drinkag1.com/FW. drinkag1.com/FW. Kush, I just looked and saw that your birthday is coming up. January 24th, and it's a big date for me because my youngest son, Jake, is going to turn 7 on January 24th. You were going to turn 39. 39?
Yeah.
Is that right?
39, man. 39.
Young sucker.
Do you have any advice for a frumpy 43-year-old that hasn't been very good about working out since he was done playing, but I've restarted my health journey?
We got him back on a train,
Here we go.
Kush.
What do I here's what I'll tell you. Like the last 2 weeks, what I've been doing, because I do enjoy squatting. So I've been doing squatting. I hate bench press, but I've been doing it. What do I need to do as a 43-year-old male to stay fit?
I'll stop telling yourself you're 43. I think stop believing it, right? The numbers, it's whatever. It's how you feel that day. And, just limit the times you kind of fall off the tracks and the rails a little bit, right? If instead of a week, turn into a day, and just work out on the days you don't feel like it, make it consistent. And I think you'll find that you'll be working out a lot more. If everyone worked out when they felt good, there won't be many workouts.
My confusion, though, is like, am I still lifting for strength? Am I supposed to focus on the cardio? Like that, what do? I type it into Chat GPT and get a workout? Like, that's my confusion.
Yeah. Well, I think you kind of have to ask yourself, what's your goal, and what do you want to do? Do you want to be able to run more? Do you want to look better? Do you want to just feel better overall? Right. So I think there's a certain combination and a certain sequence of days you can work out and different themes and kind of hit all that while still feeling pretty good. And most importantly, just being, functional.
I want the lower, you know how you have that little, like, you're real cut up, like right here, the V.
He wants
How
the
do
V.
I get the V?
He wants the V,
I want the
Kush.
V. I want the beer belly gone, and I want the V.
Not that V. He wants a V shape.
Yeah. Well, I think you mentioned the beer belly, right? So I think it starts in the kitchen and the choices we make and the food we eat and just trying to be consistent with that.
What are you trying to say?
It's the cheese curds and the Guinness is what he's trying to say. The cheese curds and the Guinness.
The first food you mentioned was beer. So, I kind of have an idea of where we're going and what the priority is. So I think the priority has to shift a little bit and understand, like, there's nothing wrong with it in moderation, right? And, most important is the consistent diet. Am I eating to work out better? Am I eating for comfort? Am I eating because I'm trying to forget about something? So, just understanding everything that we're kind of putting in our body. What's the goal of why we're doing it?
Okay, but what if I'm eating for survival because I have 7 kids and we're eating fast food all the time?
Come on.
Like you,
now
no,
you're
I'm
lying
just
to yourself.
saying. Like, what do you eat on the run all the time, Kush? Don't you? You got how many kids? 3?
I got 3.
Choose the healthier options. Come on.
Yeah, man. We do a lot of meal prepping at the house. We do a lot of crock pots, right? Stuff that's kind of, it's cooking, it's there, and I have that option. If it's in the fridge, I bring it to a 6-hour baseball tournament. Or another option is, especially on Saturdays, I've started to do a lot of fasting, 24-hour fast, where I'm not relying on.
See, I'm not the only one, Fitz.
Yeah, convenience stores or the grill at the baseball field, with 3-day-old hot dogs. I'd rather just not eat. I think it's probably a better option. And that's kind of my day, where it's kind of 24 hours. I know I'm not going to eat. There's some mental fortitude involved in that too, and some process of building to that. It's not the easiest thing right away, but
I'm going to jump out there, Kush, and probably say, I don't feel like this is a hot take, but Fitz is not meal prepping. And I also know he's probably not going to 24-hour fast.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. This is where I'm at. He gets mad at me all the time when I'm not eating. He doesn't like fasting wit. So he gets pissed when we go places and I don't eat anything.
Because you're pissy.
He gets very frustrated. Well, I mean, listen, you got to make some sacrifices, all right?
You do.
Okay, let me tell you my day yesterday, though, okay? I was in Las Vegas. We do a soccer tournament. This is day 3 of a soccer tournament. And then I've got a 5.5-hour ride home. And so what do? Coffee, great, black coffee, not putting anything in there. In order to stay alert and awake, I'm eating corn nuts. I made it through 2 bags of corn nuts. All right. And then we stopped to eat. I'm hungry, Kush. And so we stop at a gas station. Well, it's connected to an Arby's. I haven't had Arby's in 10 years. So what did I do? I got the extra big, whatever. I just one of them. I just had one sandwich. And then I wake up this morning feeling like shit. So go ahead. Tell me what I got to do better.
Got to fast on that car ride, baby.
That's right. Yeah. And I have a hard time believing from Las Vegas back to Arizona.
He might die if he doesn't eat.
Well, I have a hard time believing that Arby's was the best option too. So, it's the choices we make. It's just the choices we make. It's not easy. If it's easy, everybody would do it. But, let's just prioritize the health and diet, and it's very doable, Fitz. I don't know if
I'm telling you right now, how much you weigh right now?
Right now, I'm 250.
250?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I thought you were going to say like 220 because I was going to say I could probably still beat your ass, but not at 250. No, that's not happening.
At 30 pounds is the difference, I guess. Yeah, that's the separator.
Wow. That was the difference maker, whether he could beat your ass right there. That was it.
220.
The 30 pounds.
Yeah.
You look like you, obviously, with all this, it's very clear you're into nutrition. Now, how are you with the kids with that? That's where I'm in between. My wife's not into nutrition. Just going to say that. Like, that's not her deal. Right. She likes to work out, do all that, but she's not like gonna get crazy about what she eats. So I have to like toe the line a little bit. Like I give a little instruction and some mentorship, but I'm not too like crazy about it. I guess that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I go back and forth and struggle, right? There's days where I'm really on top of them and days where I'm a lot probably less lenient. I think just trying to teach them, right, why I'm eating what I'm eating and when, and really at, my oldest is 13, second is 11, and my youngest is 5. So I'm at that stage now where it's like, look, if there's food, eat it. Eat as much as you can, right? You have metabolism, you're growing, you need as much food as you possibly can. We're not cutting them off of any food, but just trying to avoid as much fast food as possible, right? Start with a good breakfast. If we have a practice or a long workout, we're going to eat before and after, and why we're eating what we're eating, in terms of recovery and performance and all that. So just trying to teach them really more the structure behind all of dieting and sports and performance. And again, if there's food, like I tell them, if you go to a friend's house and someone offers it, eat it, right? If there's food on the table, always just as much as you can right now to help with growth, development, everything else.
The perplexity in Fitz's face right now.
So you coach the kids baseball and football? Is that right?
Yeah, I've stepped back a lot in baseball. Just not the healthiest environment. Especially for a football.
You're just saying intensity wise?
No question. I'm an outfield fence guy. I have to stand on the outfield fence. It's the only way I can be there is I have to stay away from everybody. I don't want to be anywhere near anything where I can say anything I don't want to, take back. So I just stay out in the outfield and I watch from the fence. That's where I watch.
It's a great decision. And it's the parents more than anything else, right? And I think it's the sport that lacks the physicality that brings the intensity and aggression out of parents, because there is no physical release in the sport. So I think it's just bound up the whole time, and there's always just talking going on, parent to parent, parent to kid, and very, very unsupervised, not very monitored, and before you know it, there's 4, 5, 6 parents on the field, face to face with the umpire, and then the head of the tournament's out there with the police chief as well. So I think the outfield is a great decision in avoiding all that. I was a first base coach for a while. I've now transitioned myself to right field, center field. And,
there you go, baby.
It's a lot more peaceful out there and safer. Yeah. Definitely safer.
Yeah. Hey, and I can say what I want.
West U and Bel Air, baseball is serious. Little League baseball. So when I signed with Houston, and I'm driving around trying to figure out where the hell I'm going to live, and I saw the water tower that said Bel Air, Little League World Champions 1994 or whatever it was. And I said, okay, if there's a good community of baseball, it's probably going to be a great community to raise kids in. And it was, but there's an intensity that comes with it, with youth sports at West U and Bel Air. I'm curious on the football side of it. How many of your kids are playing tackle right now?
2 of the 3.
And when do they start playing tackle?
My oldest started in 4th, and then I actually threw my middle boy in there when he was in 2nd on the 4th grade team too. So 4th and 2nd grade.
Yeah, I started playing when I was in 5th grade, and that was kind of what I had marked for my boys was 5th grade. And then, of course, the younger one gets thrown in a little bit earlier because the older one's already there.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people are concerned about that now, but there's just too many good things I think that come out of it, like discipline and hard work. And I just don't think, other than seeing some images of your son running people over, they don't hit hard enough to really get injured, at a young age like that. But I think it's, so are you the head coach or are you just one of the assistants?
Yeah. For my middle boys team, I am, my older boys transition to the middle school kind of scene. So the school takes care of it. I help out where I can, but I will honestly say the best part of my year is coaching my middle boy. During fall, it's awesome. It's very, very rewarding and cool.
It is fun to watch them go through that. I mean, it's one of those things that's challenging. Like I always say, this Fitz laughs at me because I'm like, listen, I am not one of those dads that favors my kids. Like I benched my kid. I'll move him to second team in weeks he's not playing to a certain standard. We'll have that conversation on the ride home of why. It's not easy, but it's so much fun to watch him like respond to being challenged and to go through adversity and learn how to be a good teammate. And I think football is one of those rare sports, man, that you're going to handle. You're going to encounter every kind of situation possible, and from injuries to challenges on the field to kids are way bigger and stronger than you in certain points at their ages, and you're going to have to adjust and figure out ways to survive. And it's just so cool to like, kind of like you're talking about with the nutrition thing, to just kind of help my kids walk through that navigation of like, that's life. Like, welcome to what life's going to be like. Like, you're going to have moments you're ahead, moments you're behind, and how you handle all of them will sum up a lot of things.
Yeah. No, there's a ton of life lessons involved, and you're absolutely right. I mean, that's been the most rewarding things is seeing kids with no confidence come to the sport and leave after the season as a totally different personality and kid. And I was always I've changed a lot of my philosophies just from watching and then being able to coach youth football. I was a big believer in, kids either had it or they didn't, right?
Yep.
And I mean, really from a physical nature and an aggression standpoint. And I've seen kids that were so petrified of contact and just over time warmed up to the idea and really just bought in. And by the end of the year, they're jumping in the front of the line in a hitting drill against our hardest hitter.
Yeah.
And just the confidence that gives these young kids, I think, is so cool. And, having them being able to never play before, play a season, and then immediately tell you after the season, I'm playing again next year. I mean, that's when I really understood what really, coaching youth sports is all about.
It is. It's really cool. Like, I don't think of like my son as much when I coach my team. I think of like all the kids that you get to just have an impact on and watch them kind of fall in love with the sport. And that to me is like the neatest part. To your point, is like some of the kids that are either petrified or maybe just like have never really done something where they just found confidence in themselves. And all of a sudden you see them like start to believe in themselves a little bit and start to believe that they work hard. I can see like the other side of things. I think in youth sports, that's one of the coolest things. People get so worried about wins and losses and whether you have the best scheme possible for these kids. And it's like, man, just keep putting them out there, signing up to play football and do it the right way and watch them blossom and find themselves. Like, that's what's fun. It's the game. It's the competition, the passion, like wanting to compete, that type of thing at this age is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And it translates to the rest of their life too. It really does.
Yep.
It does, man. And that's what we're always trying to find ways, like as parents, of like, how do we fake some adversity? Because our kids have it so much better than we do. And it's like,
no question.
Through sports, man, through sports, I think is the easiest way to do that because of all the ups and downs and things you have to respond to. We're diving into some good stuff, just some rapid fires before we let you go. Have you ever had your ears pierced before?
I did. Yeah, I did. Actually,
right and left, or just right, or just left?
Same.
No, yeah, both ears. Both ears.
Yeah.
I had it done my freshman year of college by the now defense backs coach of University of Miami, who I saw on TV last night. And every time I see him, I kind of remember there were some ice cubes and piercing, and that's how we got it done. That was
great.
my first kind of leaving home kind of badass moment where I'm going to do what I want. And it was about 6 months.
Been there, done that.
6 months, and I was kind of like, it was cool. I did it. I tried it.
What kind of cologne are you wearing these days? Because I always remember you smelling great.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I'd have to go check. I've kind of.
But you're an everyday guy.
I've kind of gotten into the whole smells and sprays and chemicals. Trying to back off all that. Trying to go in the more organic route. Not saying I don't wear anything.
No deodorant.
No.
Oh no, you're not doing the Kevin Walter all natural Cooper Cup, are you?
Cooper Cup, yeah. All natural.
Kevin's not all natural. Don't let him. I'll tell you that. He's probably touching more chemicals in his golf bag every day than everyone does in a year.
Oh my
How many
God.
times he switches his grips and everything else.
You've never met a more neurotic golfer than Kevin Walter. It's
His son was on my
I would
football
believe
team
it.
this year. His son was on our football team this year, and that was Kevin 2.0, man. It was great to see Kevin at 10 years old. So
yeah. Do you have Kev leading the stretches for everybody? And
no.
Just kind of getting there. No.
Kev, when he wasn't golfing, would show up and be a really, really good parent in the stands, and I appreciated that. So
show him how to run clear out routes for Andre Johnson.
Yeah, I asked him, hey man, you want to maybe help with the receivers a little bit? Yeah, no problem. And he did what he could. He did what he could.
Sorry, I got a match at 1:30, so I'm gonna miss.
Right.
If we finish this 9 in time, I'll come by at the end of practice.
It's
Thanks,
one of my favorite photos ever was Kev. Was he gone before you got to Cincinnati, Whit? Or did you play with him?
Yeah,
he was gone.
He was gone.
So it was him.
But I did play with Big Winston.
Oh, the juicy suit?
Dude, I just saw Winston the other day. Yeah.
Big E-Dub, baby.
Lips are looking great.
Oh, my God.
You said he was skinny, though.
He did look skinny. But there's a photo of Kevin Walter, and it's Kevin Walter, Peter Warwick, TJ Hushmanzada, and Chad Ochocinco that I'll have to share on the podcast with big pink suits, and he just fit right in with those guys.
It's a great picture.
Yeah.
Spiked hair.
What a guy. Spiked hair. He looked like Nick Lachey. Yeah. It's a great photo.
Yes.
You smell really good, except for the one time that you walked into the locker room and the whole building smelled. It smelled like garlic. You got an IV of something. What the hell was that?
DMSO. It's a
DMSO IVs.
Yeah.
I thought you rubbed it. I don't know. Maybe.
No. That's the probably acceptable route of administration. Yeah, we had a guy here in Houston, and he was really kind of cutting edge with brain health, concussions, all that. And
did he work at the Galleria too, or no?
Did he? So yeah,
I had to get that in there.
Yeah,
go ahead.
DMSO IVs, man, and was new to that form of treatment and did not. You can have DMSO on, you don't smell yourself,
right?
So you're kind of unaware of really how bad you stink. And Megan was really cool about it. I
felt so bad for Megan. I mean,
really
it smelled so bad.
I know. I didn't know it till one day I didn't get it, and then one of our other linebackers had it, and then came into the room, and I was like, man, I'm gonna limit that. That's really kind of selfish. I'm doing that.
Remember that out of the game.
Yeah, I didn't know that one. I didn't know that all came with it. Felt great. Yeah. Just stunk. Just smelled terrible, but the prices
I'm coming up
to
more.
I do have one rapid fire just to follow up to Fitz's statement earlier about his drive home. Could you give him a little guidance? Let's say he's on the road next time.
Yeah.
If you had to put together a list of places you'd tell him to probably
besides
look for,
don't eat. Besides don't eat.
If he's gonna stop to eat, here's some probably maybe 1 or 2, 3, I don't know, whatever you got that you'd say, hey, this is what I'd probably go with if I was you.
Yeah.
What should he be looking in his phone app for on the maps to see if there's something on his ride?
It's a great question. Obviously, geography plays a big part in that, right? And where you are and what they have. I'm a big Cafe Rio fan.
Okay.
I know they have those.
There was a Cafe Rio there. Yes.
Yep. I know they're in Vegas,
one in
right?
Vegas.
I was kind of, Megan put me on that years ago out in Utah, and I always thought that was just an excellent place. Just, somewhere that's not cooking with a bunch of, unhealthy crap, frying everything. And if I can get, a lean protein, a little bit of carb, and, feel satisfied with what I have, I mean, it's doable.
What if at Arby's he'd have gone with like the turkey sandwich instead of the shaved beef with the sauce and the cheese? Could he at least eat the turkey out of the turkey sandwich?
Shaved beef, no bun. How about that?
That's probably still some nasty beef. Let's just throw it out there.
Arby's would probably be one.
I have a real question though. Okay, what about creatine? What supplements should I be like? What supplements should I be putting in my body right now?
An easy staple right there.
Okay.
I just think there's been so much coming out about it beyond, the muscle recovery, but the overall health benefits, brain related inflammation. There's nothing negative about it, and I think it was for so long breaking off of that stigma that it was going to stunt your growth, it was going to dehydrate you, and kids shouldn't be taking it, and then everything's coming out. It's really like a natural multivitamin for everything.
Everything.
It's a really excellent product, something I'd be taking at least 5 grams of a day.
I've freaked out a lot of hotel people that are cleaning my room every week because I don't have a great way to travel with it. So I put it, Fitz knows this, I put it in a Ziploc every week and roll it up in my bag. And so I always leave like whatever's left probably there, my guess. And they're just like, man, this guy parties.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, every week, Thursday nights, he's got white powder everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta, they got the stack, the blender stack, little capsules that are great for travel, man. I can
I gotta get on those.
Link. You can avoid the
Ziploc. We get a link, Fitz.
What's the highest game you ever bowled?
Bowled? Not great, man.
No.
Are you a golfer?
I like golf. I just don't do it enough.
Yeah, I didn't think you were. Just kind
No,
of based off.
Just too aggressive.
Yeah, I felt like he'd break a club or two.
He's
or
a
throw
top
one.
golf guy. Too aggressive at top golf.
I've been banned from 2 top
What
golfs
about
in Houston.
What about pickleball?
Pickleball's cool. I like pickleball. There's a guy at our gym. He's always, I guess, To is really big in pickleball.
Huge, yeah.
And he's living somewhere in Houston now. I think his daughter goes to Sam Houston State, and he's trying to get me to play with him. But I just had really bad experiences playing in pickleball with guys that are like really long. It's just annoying. No matter where you hit it, they can reach it, and they're just super athletic. Like JJ and I almost got in a full fight out in the Gaza Coeur Lane a couple years ago playing.
Oh yeah, Gaza Ranch, baby.
Yeah,
it's like wherever you hit it, he could reach it, and I'm like, this is dumb. His wingspan was the full length of the court. I was like, let's play tennis then, or something I just wanted to make him run, and I didn't have that ability. Pickleball's cool. It's a great workout. I like golf. It's just super time consuming, and Houston's never under 100 degrees. So it's usually more
4
work
hours
than it is fun. And I've always done better in golf when I don't play it a lot. But the second I get serious and take some lessons and really think I'm getting better.
Good. K. Walter.
Yeah. Yeah. But he keeps trying. I just give it up. Right. I just give it up.
Do you own any belt buckles?
Belt buckles?
Yeah, you're a Texas guy.
Like the big Texas ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have 1 or 2 that were kind of gifted in either charities or, some kind of dinner. JJ actually one year got our autographs made into belt buckles. That was kind of cool.
What about cowboy boots?
I have some cowboy boots.
You ever wear them? Do you wear them though?
I don't.
What are you, a size 13?
13.5, yeah.
Are you a big Buc-ee's guy? You a Buc-ee's fan?
I like Buc-ee's. Kids love Buc-ee's. That's a great.
Fitz, you been to a Buc-ee's?
Yeah, I love Buc-ee's. 2 C's and 2 E's. Yep.
That's a great.
They're bringing one to Arizona, Kush.
Ooh, that's big, Fitz.
They're bringing one to Arizona.
Bringing one to
really
Utah too.
About it.
They're bringing one to Utah too. So I guess they're expanding outside of Texas. I mean,
let's go.
I've heard there might be one on Greenland eventually. I think that'd be a great peace deal right there. Right? Show us a little
all right.
bit
Well, that's for the next podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing, your favorite type of candy when you're trying to be a little unhealthy, Kush. Do you ever eat candy?
Yeah.
Don't say like Snickers. Oh, Snickers. Oh,
is that not candy?
Well, I mean, it just doesn't count.
Fitz considers Snickers like a protein bar. He thinks that's healthy
that's
candy.
health food.
That's what he thinks is healthy.
Because they also make a protein Snickers that they're related. Yeah.
Hungry. Why wait?
I will try to say, I'm not going out getting it, but if it's in the house, I've always been a huge Jolly Rancher guy.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I wouldn't have guessed that. That's good.
Yeah.
That's strong.
Just one of those things. It's like 1 or 2 don't hurt, and kind of, it's okay every once in a while. Loved them growing up, and there's some nostalgia. I think there's some nostalgia involved every time I see them.
Yeah, Zima and a Jolly Rancher. That's all I used to know. That's my only experience of a Jolly Rancher.
With his pierced ears, ready to go.
Again, but Jolly Ranchers are out there.
All right, was that enough rapid fire questions? Is that okay?
Are you happy?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, guys.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, dude. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Good catching up. And
yeah, man.
Hopefully we'll see you sometime soon.
Thank you guys.
Good seeing you, bro.
That was great. Appreciate you guys.
Fitz, man, Kush, what an absolute legend! Like, thank you for getting him on, man, dude. He is awesome. It made me really flash back to some days. I mean, I can remember 2011 season, Andy Dalton's rookie year. We make the playoffs, go down to Houston, and play that freaking defense. I think it's the famous J.J. Watt interception touchdown, and Kush was an absolute beast, man. Talk about a physical player. Everything about him on this podcast just made that is exactly who he is. I could see him and Vrabel also having a tough time getting along because they are literally the same dude. Like, nobody's losing anything. An argument, a conversation, you name it, I'm winning at all costs.
Dude, you know what I forgot to ask him? I was at Gettysburg a few years ago, and we're going through kind of looking at stuff with my father-in-law, and there was a soldier named Alonzo Cushing, and I sent the photo to Cush because it sort of looked like him, and it ended up being like his great uncle or something, which was wild. But I swear to you, but I'm sure we could look it up. I'll make sure we post a picture of it because they do. We'll do like a little side by side. I saw it and I was like, okay, Cushing, he has to be related, and it turned out he was,
That's
which was
awesome.
wild. But yeah, he's one of the best, one of my favorite teammates I've ever had. He has an intensity about him in everything he does. I can only imagine watching him as a coach. I think it was funny he was talking about baseball and having to step away from baseball because there wasn't enough physicality and his aggressiveness wasn't really working well with his coaching style there. He can get it all out on the football field. I'm telling you, I've shared some clips with you. His sons are savages.
Maniac, dude.
You would not be surprised. I mean, anybody that watched him play in high school or at SC or in college, his kids seem to be coming up that same ladder with the talent level and the aggressiveness. So excited to see what's to come for them, but awesome dude, awesome teammate, and really enjoyed him taking the time and getting to talk to him. So that's it for us. Hopefully you enjoyed this bonus episode. We'll be back next week with all the biggest news from the championship games. Big thank you to Brian Cushing again for joining us. Fitz and Wood is a Wave original. Thanks to our production crew, and thanks again to all you beardos for tuning in. We will see you next week. Peace.
Peace.